Arizona coming up. We kick right back into our mode, trying to get back on track and put together a really good week. We'd like to pick up where we left off if we could, and that's a big challenge. We need to show that kind of consistency over a long period of time. It's going to start here this week, and so we'll see if we can put that together.
What's the challenge in going as a quarterback that there's so little game tape, at least with this offense?
Well, the challenge is how they're going to utilize them. How they're going to mix their stuff and what they think, and we won't know until we play. We have to go on what they've done, but anticipate that we may have to adjust, and so we just got to wait and see. He's a real capable thrower. He can throw everything, so it's not like we could narrow down and figure out what they're going to do. We don't know right now, so we're going to play good football and adjust as the game goes.
Personnel. So what film do you go back to when you're trying to scout and prepare for this?
We look at everything that we have. We go back, for the whole team. We're going back to last year's stuff. For the defense, there's a lot of things we have to cover. So it's a big process because of the newness and all that. So.
Do you expect Earl Thomas to practice today?
This is the day that Earl always gets a break.
You've talked in the past about rookie quarterbacks being more ready now than before. When did you kind of see that start to shift?
I go all the way back to when Stafford came in. Those guys, and also, it's about that time when guys just started making the transition easily. And Flacco, when he started up, those guys, they all kind of kicked into high gear right away, and it just started speaking to the preparation that the guys have had growing up, and they've just been throwing the ball more. You throw a curl route, it's a curl route, and the guys throw enough of them, and they get used to it, and then they can make the transition, and they've just been really active and part of it early on, and I think you have to expect that to happen now, and that's pretty much what's going on. So.
How are they using David Johnson differently, if at all?
So far, they're getting the ball to him as much as they can. He's such a versatile player. He does everything out of the backfield. They can move him out. They do all kinds of stuff. So we have a lot of experience in seeing it. So we kind of have everything in mind. We have to get prepared for.
Any updates on Posick or Dion or any of those guys?
Yeah, I'll go with the guys you asked and keep asking. Posick's way better today. His ankles feels a lot better. He's hoping he can play this week. That's what's in his mind. That's what we just talked about earlier. Dion is thinking the same thing. He's a little different injury, of course, but he'll be active, moving around and stuff. We'll have a chance for him this weekend.
What happened with Dion?
He's got a core thing going on.
Why have you been so successful kind of bottling up David Johnson? He's gotten a ton of carries against you in the last two times you faced him, but about 3.5 yards a carry.
I don't know. That was before, That doesn't mean anything to us now. But we've always zeroed in on him in their style of running, and they're a different staff now and different style and different play caller and all that. So we don't have any of that advantage, after all the years that we played him. So I think he's really difficult to bottle up, and you can bottle him up in the running game, and he beats you in the throwing game. So he's a fantastic football player.
Regardless of Ethan's health, you want to stick with JR and DJ after the success you had running on Sunday?
It's gonna have to show itself that he's really ready to go for us to change. Those guys did a good job, and we don't need to rush him back under these circumstances. We're just getting started with DJ back in and Sweeze on the other side. So. I don't expect that he would just jump right back in because he can't practice today. So, that's going to be hard for him to get back that fast. But he might be available on game day.
What's KJ Wright's situation?
Working his way back. He was going on a really good pace, and then we needed to slow it down. We needed to slow it down a little bit, so we're going day to day with him now and see how he progresses.
Doug, update on Doug?
Yeah, he's going to practice today. It's a great jump for him to make. He's in the walkthrough today. He'll practice for the first time in a few weeks, and he looks really good and light on his feet, and he looks very confident that he can have a chance to play this week. So we'll see how that goes. He's confident. That's not a surprise. I just got to see if he can pull it off.
Are you confident he can play Sunday?
Well, I got to see him. He hasn't practiced, going full speed yet, so we'll find out. but I'm really hopeful that he can do that. He's really determined. It's been a frustrating process for him, and he's dying to get back out there. So hopefully he can pull that together.
Pete, are you confident that whatever drama might exist with Earl during the week, that on game day he's going to be able to keep bringing it and be engaged and all that?
Let me say this. I'm really confident that Earl is ready to play really good football, and he has done nothing but that. We've worked together for a long time, and we've worked through things, and we've talked our way through where we are right now. I think the process is going to go really good. He feels great coming out of that game. We'll do what we do during the week in preparation, and I'm hoping he can keep rolling. He's on fire right now and want to keep it going.
Have you talked with him about missing practice, or do you just kind of say, it is what it is, and move on? How do you handle that?
Yeah, of course we've talked about it, yeah. And we've done the whole conversation. We've been through it. We're very clear. I might have demonstrated to you that I was kind of confident that we would be okay about working through this because I felt like we would be. I think we are. And I'm really looking forward to another week of getting ready to play ball. And everything's taking place, and we're not really sharing it with you, but it's going fine.
If today's his break day, do you expect him to practice tomorrow?
Yes. Yes, that's a good answer right there. Yes.
With Doug, both knees have been an issue already to start this year. Do you have to try to manage him any differently to make sure he's going to be right for you? Or because of...
We need to find out. We need to find out how it goes. And so, again, like Doug's the guy that, we communicate with very directly, and over a long period of time, we'll work our way through it, and we'll just assess how he's doing and how it's going. It's a little bit unknown, how it's going to feel after a day's work right now, and then the next day, and then you put a game under our belt, and then we'll go to the next week, and we'll figure out how is he by Wednesday, and we don't know that stuff yet. We're going to take it one step at a time. He's such a great competitor, and he's so determined to be part of it. He's going to work his way through this, but we got to watch him because he has a tendency to go over the top because he's so aggressive, and so we're going to monitor it and really bank on the fact that he's such a great competitor that he's going to be able to figure it out and put it together.
As you've talked to Earl Thomas, do you get indications that his unhappiness will keep perking up in some ways, or is this?
We're way beyond all that stuff. I mean, we've been working through stuff. We're ready. It's not even a concern of mine right now. I guess that's what you're asking. No, I'm not concerned about it. I think we're in a good place, and we've talked through the things we needed to talk through, and we're moving.
What did he indicate, or what happened that got you way beyond that concern?
Like I've tried to convey to you that we have a long-time relationship, and we have a good understanding, and we can communicate really well. And banking on that, we have gotten to the point where I think we're moving forward in a really positive way. And
Players studying.
I'm trying to say as little about it as possible. Let's move on, if we can. I know you don't want to. Go ahead. I don't blame you. Go ahead.
Players over the years studying film have said from time to time that they can tell when another player from the opposition makes a business decision not to engage in full contact. And you see that occasionally yourself, and if it's one of your players, what do you say to that player?
There have been times when coaches and players make comments about that. Yeah, I've always been pretty strong about that it's not okay, to let a guy run or let a guy go and don't take a shot at making a block or something because you're trying to save yourself. I mean, because you're playing for your teammates, and so you got to do everything you can to help them and help them win. So it's not been an issue, a direct issue, for a long time. I've got a great old story that I'm not going to share with you, but that really addresses that thought, and I don't have a whole lot of tolerance for that.
Is 32 carries for Carson, is that sustainable week to week, or is that?
I really don't think it is. I mean, I don't think it's something that could he? Yeah, of course. Would we want to do that? Not necessarily. We'll just see how it goes, and it's going to change depending on the game and how things are rolling. And we're just going to do it from the gut and look them in the eye and figure out what's right at the time and go with it. The great thing about it is Chris knows he can carry the ball 30-something times, and Shoddy knows he can carry it 30-something times, and he's back and he looks great again, ready to go for this week. So I've tried to really express how he has worked to be in such great shape. He's been the most fit, most together guy physically of anybody in the program. He's just, from the time we came back in April, and you can see the results of and the benefits of that. He bounced right back this week. He's ready to go again. So, but he's ready to do it, and I'm ready to call it if that's the way it is. I got no problem with it. But I don't think it'll happen like that. But
Is there any party you've taken yourself for not committing to him more in the first couple games of the year?
Absolutely. In terms of if we would have run the ball as much as we did in this last week, the results would have been different. But we need to make first downs to get that done. And so, yeah, I'm never going to let myself off the hook for not being able to figure that out, so that we could have won the first 2 games. So, but that's sometimes the game just doesn't let you. It just doesn't happen. And you can't just call 30 runs. You got to make first downs. You got to move the ball and all that kind of stuff. And so. But it's really, I think it was really clear to us how the formula fits together. And I think everybody that watches this and cares about us knows this is how we love to play if we can do it. And it doesn't always go that way. But we're surely trying to capture that, that formula.
After the couple big touchdowns against Denver, I don't think there's been a completion longer than 18 yards the last 2 games. Just how important has that been for your defense to?
Explosive plays are they're the factor that changes the opportunity to score. You get 16-yard pass completion in a drive, your percentage of scoring goes way up. And so whenever you can eliminate the explosives, it's huge. And we're doing a nice job staying on top, and hopefully we can keep that going.
How much did, in film study, do you see your offensive line winning the physical battle one-on-one? Was that the biggest difference in getting first downs by running?
No, I really think they did a nice job, and it was obvious how Fluke played and his presence out there. And I thought JR and the 2 of them playing together showed up. It was a nice combination. All the guys did a solid job, but it was really the fact that we did not take the negative plays that set you back against the sticks was the factor. And so we were on schedule throughout that game, and that's huge. That means you're not getting the major penalties that make you 1st and 20 or 2nd and 20s, and you don't have the sacks that cause those same kinds of situations. And so that was really, I think, the biggest difference that allowed us to stay on schedule and stay. We've wanted to run the football in every game we've played. We didn't allow ourselves by the way we function, and so. It's really obvious how the difference, obviously, from week 1, 2, and 3. Yes.
TJ mentioned after the game the ability of the offensive line to pick up the stunts that Dallas was running and kind of handle those was a big step. Where did you see them gain the biggest confidence from Sunday's game?
Yeah, I think that really the guys in the process of preparing for these, they were a big stunting team, and they really believe it's part of their fundamental philosophy at Dallas. And I think part of it was the experience that Fluke brought. He played against those guys a lot. He helped us some, just that he was really on it. But all of the guys worked together in preparation. Mike did a really nice job of getting everybody right, so we didn't allow for the penetration that happens when those guys, when you cut guys loose. And we just didn't have the negative plays. And that's going back to, that keeps you on schedule and allows you to get 3- and 4-yard runs, which are really valuable. And now you're going 3rd and 2s and 3s and 4s. Those are a lot easier to convert than the 3rd and long. So that all fits together.
What's your opinion on the roughing the passer rules that have caused a lot of controversial calls lately, and how are you guys coaching in conjunction with those rules in terms of?
Yeah, I can't tell you that I've really studied all of those in great depth. I've just kind of see the flash on the TV and all that. I thought the couple that Clay was involved with really were the ones that, we got to look at them. We got to figure it out. There's something about the intent of really trying to slam the guy into the dirt that I hope that the officials can see and see that there's a difference sometimes. A guy, you can feel it when the guy really tries to hit a guy into the dirt, and I'm hoping that we can tell the difference. And they're going to get better at it. It's a new emphasis, and they'll figure it out. I have all the faith in the world that they just like they've done with the helmet rule. They've done a great job, and then we've done a great job of adapting within a couple weeks' time to call the calls the right way. And there's not very many complaints. There's not very many calls, and the players have adapted. That's why the players have adapted. So the officials have seen that, and they've taken that into consideration. I think they'll do the same thing on these hits. We want to take care of the quarterbacks. There's no question. And they're trying to do that. They just got to figure out what is and what isn't. And so it's a very fine line, and it's just in a flash of an instant. And it's such a subtle thing that you're looking for. I think they'll get better with the attention that we put on it. And as far as we're concerned, we're focusing on it. We've been teaching it for a long time, and so it's nothing new for us. But we just continue to show the examples, and we, when we need to, and try to stay abreast of kind of the trend of how things are being called.
Have you gotten word from the league on Kendrick's appeal, or what the status of that is?
He's playing this week.
But does that just mean it's in advance, or?
That's all I know.
What is CJ Pro Science? What's his situation?
We're working with him. It's a core injury that because it's kind of, we're not quite being able to nail it yet, how we can get him back. So I'm not sure what's going to happen this week, but we're going to look after him and see if we can get him right. He didn't make a lot of progress over the weekend, unfortunately.
Do you make anything of obviously you want to win there, but the success in Arizona, I think it's 4-0-1 in the last 5 years.
It's been a good trip. It's 12s. The 12s like going to Arizona, and they help us out. They've always been really strong down there, and it's great to be on the road and to feel the presence of your own fans. They've always been really good about it, so I'd give it to them.
Where's Shaquem Griffin right now on the depth chart as far as playing time as linebackers? Obviously, he's had the opener, and we haven't seen much of him.
Yeah, he's backing up at the will spot, and doing all the special team stuff, ready to go in the nickel packages and everything. He's busting to just stay with the installation and just growing with us. Personally for him, this was a fantastic process to be thrust in, to have to figure it out and realize where he is, and then we have that information to grow and to try and bring him back and not have to put him back in until he's really ready. He can play in any situation now. He can do that, but still he's got a lot of experience to gain. So fortunately, he's ready to go. He's a terrific athlete to put on the field when we need him, and he can do everything we want him to do. And we'll just try to take the process along so that when the time's right and we need to call on him again, he's ready to jump in there. But he's ready to back up is really what it is right now, both nickel and base.
You mentioned after the game Sunday that Dixon didn't have his best game against the Cowboys. Can you trace that back to anything?
No,
Timing?
The ball didn't fly quite the same, a couple kicks there, and that's all. But he did a really nice job of backing him up. He did a beautiful job there. The open field kicks weren't as clean as he made them in the last few weeks. I don't think it's any big deal.
Pete, Jerron is a former Arizona Cardinal. You've kind of alluded to this from the beginning that he's been, a great guy since day one. But what have you kind of seen from him the first 3 weeks of that?
He's come from the first week he was with us. He just seemed to have a handle on what it takes and what's important and how you do the job and how you work, and his background, his habits, his makeup, all just showed that he was a pro. That's kind of how we talked about him. He's a real pro. He just gets it, And he's never wavered. He's just been on that the whole time. His performance has followed. His availability for all of the things we've asked him to do at receiver and also in special teams has followed. He's been a tremendous addition, and we're really excited for him. And I've already talked to him about going back, to Arizona, and how you going to handle it and stuff like that. We're already on that conversation. But he's been a terrific addition. Working out great.
It's a couple weeks out still, but do you expect Ed Dixon to be fully up to speed, ready to go for your win?
Yeah, he's working really well. Touched base with him today again. He's just a couple weeks away now, and you can't imagine how hungry he is to get out there and help his club and all. So, but he should be fine. Barring setbacks, he's in great shape.
Does a lot of what they do defensively look a lot different at all than what they did under Arians?
Yes, it's a different scheme. It's really we would look at it like it's Carolina's defense. The roots and the basics of that. They're playing a lot of nickel, using Buddha a lot in there, and he's been a real flashy part of their defense already, Buddha Baker. And but it's different. It is a different origin in the scheme.
Are they as aggressive in setting pressure as they were previously?
Absolutely. They're coming at you half the time. They're really aggressive. That has not changed.
How did that conversation with Jerron go about playing his old teams mentally?
He was good. He just recognizing that there's a conversation to have is to say, okay, I got to be level-headed about this and make sure that he's clear-headed about it and doesn't let the emotion of wanting to make all the plays and whatever, make the statements. It just comes natural to all of us when we have those kinds of opportunities. Just got to just touch base on it. So the fact that we did, he's going, okay, yeah, I won't. I'm going to be okay. But I'm going to watch him all the way through the process too, because sometimes it gets really hard.
Anything else?
Okay.
Thank you.